Hey friends, that fall Sephora sale is finally here. I'm a big Sephora shopper. I always have a list of loves going on the website that I want to add to cart during sale time. The question is, what's really good to get on sale and what would be better to get elsewhere because you can get it more discounted elsewhere? So in the spirit of that question, I have 10 fragrances that I think are probably best to get on the Sephora website. Friends, that doesn't mean that you will never see these discounted elsewhere. It means that Sephora lists them as exclusive to the Sephora site. And some of these are actually sold on the brand website also. But if they're not there, then they're on the Sephora site and would probably be generally difficult to find anywhere else, including other discount sites. So these are my top 10 recommendations that claim to be exclusive to Sephora and I think are really worth checking out if you are into these various scent profiles. If you want to know details about how the sale works, check that out on the Sephora website. I do happen to be a Rouge member, which means I have spent way too much money at Sephora in a given calendar year, and it gets me 20% off. So my first recommendation is from the brand Flur. They rebranded and created new bottles recently, and one of the loves that I have enjoyed here in recent weeks is called Vanilla Skin. This is absolutely beautiful for fall and the perfect sort of hug in a bottle fragrance. There's a dominant vanilla notes, a little bit of woodiness, and a bunch of sugariness that is sort of like balanced by the woodiness, or doesn't get too overly sweet in a way that would be sort of nauseating or too youthful. There's a maturity from the beautiful vanilla in the fragrance. And I will say this does remind me of sweater weather, like beautiful to wear under a nice cable knit sweater, a cashmere sweater, cozied up on the couch, watching a movie, something like that. It's warm, it's inviting, it's soft. There's a subtlety to this. There's nothing sort of jarring or scratchy or edgy about the fragrance. It is just warm and cozy, and the bottle is so cute. It smells how the bottle looks. You know, sort of warm wraparound, no edges, you know, really round type of fragrance. And I really do enjoy this. It's closer to the skin and it's not a projection beast in my experience, moderately lasting, but really quite beautiful for this time of year, especially as we go deeper into cozy season. I could absolutely see this being a fabulous fragrance for when it snows outside and you're indoors, warm and cozy with your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, your cup of cocoa, and your vanilla skin on, your fuzzy slippers and your robe. Really delightful. The bottles are cute. I ragged on the bottles initially because I really liked the old Flur bottles until I got in person and saw these and thought these are really quite substantial and cute and well done. The Flur is stamped into the top, all of that. So anyway, this is the eau de parfum. There is a spray, a skin spray. I haven't tried that one. Some people say that that is sweeter. I can neither confirm nor deny that. This bottle here is 1.7 ounces and is at $99 retail. And so you can do the math on the percentage off. One of my top choices for the sale. My top recommendation for all of my gourmand loving friends out there, and I just adore this fragrance also, and it's easier to get this on Sephora than elsewhere. It is from Sol de Janeiro, and it is Sol CHEIROSA 62. The keynotes listed on the website are pistachio, jasmine petals, and salted caramel. Get this with the Boom Boom Cream. The Boom Boom Cream is luxurious and so soft and silky feeling on the skin. And just it smells almost identical, if not identical. Maybe that is the exact same scent that's in the Boom Boom Cream. But there's got to be vanilla in this fragrance, even though it's not listed as a keynote. And you absolutely get this really delicious, ooey gooey caramel, made even sweeter by some soft florals. And so there's some sugariness in here. It just smells like a luscious, amazing, delicious dessert. This is such a good fragrance. There are different formulations apparently of this, so the rumor mill has it. I don't know which one I have, if I have the longer lasting formulation or the one that doesn't last as long, but I probably get a good 4-ish hours out of this, maybe a little bit more depending on the day, and then I have to re-up. I do tend to layer this with the Boom Boom Cream. It's one of the last remaining lotions, friends. I bought all of these lotions and oils and things at one point because I got into the whole body care thing, and then I just don't use them. So this is the Boom Boom Cream that smells like this, is one of the last remaining lotions that I actually have. I gave everything else away, and I probably have a handful. Oh my gosh, wait a minute, time out. The Fenty Butter Drop. And if they have them during the sale, there's a Fenty Trio. One is like cinnamony vanilla. There's the Butter Drop. And then I'm forgetting there's a third one. They all have a slightly different smell, but they're gourmand and amazing. And they melt into the skin. I'll try to put a picture up of what the package looks like. If you see that and you like lotion and you like smelling gourmand, that's a good one too. It's very light and subtle, all three of those. I have that too. have the Boom Boom Cream, and I have a few others. But anyway, we're talking about the fragrance. This fragrance is 1.7 ounce and it is $78. So shockingly, that is on the more affordable end of fragrances because prices on fragrances have been going crazy. I'm not as crazy about this disco ball top, but I put up with it because the fragrance is just so thick and luscious and ooey gooey delicious. Beautiful fragrance. So big recommendation for my gourmand friends. Speaking of gourmands, although not quite as sort of sugary and desserty as the CHEIROSA 62, I got to give it up for Commodity Milk and Milk Bold or Milk Plus. I personally prefer the Milk Plus. However, I think the Milk is more mass appealing. This is the expressive version, and then there is a light version. I forget what it's called. Milk Personal, I think is the name of it. So there are sort of three intensities: the personal, the expressive, and the bold. The bold has the bronze lettering and then a plus sign on it. And I like that one more because it's sort of thicker and gooier than this one is. But this one is gorgeous too, and I love it also. This is a very marshmallow forward scent. It's milky, smells like marshmallow. The keynotes are cold milk, mahogany wood, and marshmallow. I don't feel like this is quite as woody as maybe the Milk Bold one is. That one has a deeper woodiness and like a thick caramelly, marshmallowy nature to it. This one is lighter and wispier, and it's like the feeling of a cloud on your skin. It's sweet. It's marshmallowy. It's not as sweet and desserty as I mentioned as this one, but it definitely is a gourmand kind of fragrance. Really lovely, long lasting, nicely projecting, warm and friendly, and definitely has some milky tones to it. It's not, for me anyway, the kind of milky notes that people say make them feel like they're smelling baby spit up. People say that so much. I'm kind of getting tired of hearing about the baby vomit, but it doesn't smell like baby spit up at all. Nor does it smell like the kind of milk note that some people say gets sour on their skin. This is a very steady, easygoing milk note in here, and mostly marshmallow, like a sweet marshmallow type of deal, and really good. This is a full bottle at 100 milliliters, and so 3.4 ounces, and it's $150 retail. And if you can stand something a little bit bolder, the Milk Plus is hard to go wrong with. It's my favorite from the Milk line. Although this next one is technically categorized as a gourmand, I guess I never really thought about it as gourmand, although it has some gourmand touches. I would really just call this a warm, cozy fall fragrance, although it wears beautifully in the summer, beautifully in the spring, and in the winter as well. And a good one to get during the sale if you've been eyeballing this. This is from Kilian, and it has the longest name ever. I don't need a prince by my side to be a princess, which we here in the fragrance community just affectionately call Princess. It originally came in a bottle that had a ball on it in like a square base, or cube base rather, and they changed to this packaging, which I much prefer. I smelled this on a colleague recently, and I didn't know she was wearing Princess, but she smelled really, really good. And I was like, oh, I know that smell from somewhere. I couldn't quite place it. This is so lovely. In fact, it's got a good deal in common with Commodity Milk, although this doesn't have the milky tones, and it's a bit sweeter to me. So keynotes here listed, at least on the website, ginger. And so let me pause and say there's a brightness in the fragrance, like something a little bit zingy that I wouldn't necessarily pick out as being ginger or anything in that family, but I like it. Ginger, green tea. Again, I don't pick out necessarily a tea accord, and then marshmallow. So this is sweet and fluffy and soft and very girly. I love the name Princess because it reminds me of tutus and pretty dresses and long hair and eyes fluttering and that kind of a thing. And it's that sort of sweet, fluffy, cozy hug in a bottle fragrance that has a little bit of zinginess from the ginger, and probably some depth and brightness from the tea as well. Sometimes green tea or tea notes, depending on the kind of tea it is. There are some darker, smokier teas, right? And then there are some teas that lend almost like either a floral or an herbal sweetness and gentleness to the fragrance. This is a very gentle, fluffy, sweet fragrance that deserves the name Princess. And the longevity on here is mixed for people, definitely half a day-ish, maybe a little bit more, and it's a soft bubble around you. This isn't a fill the room kind of fragrance. Princess. I almost forgot to tell you the retail price of this one, which is 1.7 ounce, and this one retails for $150. Moving along to the Seven Virtues, the brand The Seven Virtues, which, is hard to get outside of Sephora. This is a clean brand for those of you that care about that sort of thing, certain ingredients used, eco-conscious, eco-friendly, all of that. There are a lot of fragrances from the Seven Virtues that I could recommend. Santal Vanille, if you like sandalwood and vanilla together, is probably one of my favorites from the line. But a close contender right behind is Amber Vanilla. Before I talk about this one, if you're interested, I would say check out Candied Lychee as well. I mentioned in a previous video that I'm not interested in a bottle of this. There's something about it that's a little bit much for me, but a lot of people love this, and it is fruity and a little floral and happy and effervescent and flirty and bright and all of the things. So, but I don't want a bottle of this. There's also Cherry Ambition, which I also don't care for, and a lot of people love, so check that out. I want to talk about Amber Vanilla, which retails for $94 at the 1.7 ounce. So you can do the math for the 20% off of that. This is described as a warm and sheer fragrance. I don't really think it's sheer. I think it has some substance to it. The keynotes are amber, carnation, and vanilla. And I find this to be somewhat similar to Vanilla Skin, except it has a nice floral aspect. So if you want more in the warm skin direction, sweater weather type of deal, Vanilla Skin maybe is it. If you want something a little bit more floral, even more feminine, because all of these fragrances are feminine, then Vanilla Skin. Amber Vanilla might be a good choice. I just love the way that this warms up on the skin. I remember trying this and feeling like I had to have a bottle right away when I tried it at Sephora. It is warm and cozy. It has just the right volume, texture, and amount of florals in it to make it perfumey to me. And I love using that word, perfumey. If you know what a perfume counter smells like in a store, you get the idea of what perfumey smells like. It's just the right amount of that combined with the warmth and coziness of vanilla. Although amber isn't, oh, it is listed as a note. Duh, I was going to say, did I eat my Wheaties today? I did take my vitamins. That this smells very ambery on the skin. And what I mean by that is, like, if you think about vanilla plus some like golden and resinous types of notes. So it's thicker, it's denser. This is so pretty, and it just plays so nicely on the skin. It's warm, it's inviting, it's alluring. I really, really enjoy this fragrance. The longevity is less than I would like, maybe a few hours. I really want this to last all day for me because it is gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. Did I tell you what it cost? $94 for a 1.7 ounce, if I haven't said that already, which is what this is. I'm not crazy about the Seven Virtues bottles. I mean, I've seen worse. Like, they stamp the cap and all of that, which is nice. And they put on the inside label the notes, but it's ambery and it's golden and it's soft and it's pretty, vanillic. I don't know. It's just, I could douse myself in this fragrance. Let's go on. Some people adore this next fragrance, and some other people, it's just not it for them. I think it is such a cute fragrance that is perfect as we go into the holiday season further. Jo Malone Ginger Biscuit. It's funny how this little bow that you can literally take off, I mean, you know, adds such flair and flavor to this little thing. That's not a reason to buy the fragrance, but I think it's cute. I love the color of the bottle too, that sort of brownish ambery color. This one is a full bottle, 3.4 ounce, 100 mils for $165. So a nice one to get at the 20% off or even the 15% off. This is also in the warm and sweet gourmand category, which is interesting. This is a little bit of a drier fragrance to me than the others that are more sort of luscious and creamy and thick. Yeah, this has a little bit of a drier texture to it. I think it's great. So notes here, ginger, you get right away. I mean, it's called Ginger Biscuit, and biscuit as in the British biscuit, which is cookie. So think of a ginger cookie. You bring it out of the oven and the spices on it hit you first before anything else. Ginger, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Absolutely. It says it melts into caramel with butter, crumbly roasted hazelnuts, while tonka bean and vanilla add a cozy, luxurious finish. Maybe, but I will say the ginger, the nutmeg, and the cinnamon are the star players here. There's a sort of subtle vanilla background. I don't feel like this is a creamy fragrance at all. I feel like it's dry in the sense that those spices would be if you just had them crumbled up in like powder form, the dryness of that with the sweetness of the light cookie in the background. So, but those ginger, you have to love ginger to enjoy this fragrance, and nutmeg and cinnamon together are prominent players. And it's fun and it's flirty and it's lighthearted. It's a very airy, whimsical fragrance. This does not have substance and depth like, say, the CHEIROSA 62, like the amber vanilla does. This is light. This is light, and it's a thin texture of a fragrance. It doesn't last long. You'll get a few hours, 3, maybe 4, and you have to re-up. So if you're okay with that, this is a great one to take into the holiday season. It is just a fun fragrance. I'm a little embarrassed. The next fragrance is also considered a gourmand, and I'm a little shocked about that. So a house that doesn't get a lot of attention at all on YouTube. Maybe a person here or there may mention a fragrance or two. It's called Nette. And I did a review of the discovery set from this house a while back. There are a number of beauties from the house. I have Rose Parade, which I really like, citrusy, rose, bright, happy fragrance. I had a travel spray of Coco Flur, which is beautiful too. Solar cocoa, coconut fragrance for summer. I mean, you can wear it in the winter too. The one I wanted to feature is this one here called Thé Vanille, tea and vanilla, Thé Vanille. And so the keynotes listed are cardamom, magnolia flower, and vanilla. But the fragrance description really tells you a little bit more about this. It says it's creamy and mineral with vanilla and a touch of matcha tea. The fragrance has an addictive and salty character. Also, there's pink pepper, turmeric root. I don't get turmeric at all, thank God. Luxurious orris and cedarwood. It says it's scientifically backed to boost feelings of confidence and mindfulness. What? Okay. Anyway, the fragrance is, for me, tea and vanilla. And I love that it describes the mineral notes, because this immediately then made me think of a fragrance that this does smell like a distant cousin to, but I would have never put 2 and 2 together. And that is Lineage from Amouage in the beautiful turquoise bottle. One of my favorite fragrances in my collection. And it has this beautiful mineral aspect to it that I get in here. So think of like metallic notes and mineral notes. Yeah, I get that. And it adds an intrigue and interest to this fragrance, but this stays a warm vanilla tea fragrance at the same time, with interest and intrigue added from that mineral aspect. I never picked up on that before seeing this description today. I would have called this a warm tea vanilla fragrance. This is another sort of cozy hug in a bottle fragrance. And the fact that they added that there's a salty character, I can see that. So if you like fragrances like Olympia from Paco Rabanne, and maybe that's a little loud and screechy for you, but you like parts of it and you just want the essence of it, check out something like this Thé Vanille. Very interesting fragrance. Very soft on the skin, not loudly projecting. It is a closer to you, more intimate bubble type of fragrance, but very interesting and a great house to check out. In fact, grab the discovery set and see what you think about the whole collection. There's a forest one too. I think it's called La Forêt. And that's supposed to smell more like a pine forest and something else. And I'm forgetting the other ones in the lineup, but they're all interesting to test out. I think I forgot to say the price again. This one is $120 and it is 1.7 ounces. So $24 off of that if you want the 20% discount. Next is one that has gotten mixed reviews, which is really interesting. Some people love it and some don't. And I am interested in a bottle of this, so I may pick it up during the sale. It is from Neste, called Bourbon Vanilla, which has rave reviews on Sephora. In Fragcom here on YouTube, it has been mixed. So test this out and see what you think. I bought a travel spray, and the more I tried it, the more I really found it intriguing. It is $92 for a 1.7 ounce. The bottle is precious on this. The keynotes are vanilla bourbon, which is this really almost like dense, almost kind of sort of syrupy vanilla smell to me. It is a thicker, like a darker vanilla smell, which I really, really love. Brown sugar and night blooming jasmine, excuse me. I get more of the sweet, almost sticky brown sugar and deep vanilla smell than I do jasmine. And the jasmine for me lends this like intriguing floral background to this fragrance, but I don't think that that is the star player. I find this to be such a lovely, warm, enveloping, rich smelling bourbon vanilla fragrance. I hope that the full bottle smells like the travel spray. Sometimes, you know, you have different experiences, because the travel spray just smells so cozy and so rich and enveloping and alluring. It's really, really nice. And so I'd really like to try this. I would say one of the main differences between vanilla bourbon and vanilla skin, because there are some similarities, is vanilla bourbon is much sweeter than this one is, because of the brown sugar. And it has the sophistication from the floral nuances in the background of that fragrance that make it a little bit more elegant and evening appropriate than vanilla skin, which is like an all day, everyday type of sweet, sweater weather type of cozy fragrance. So Bourbon Vanilla is high on my list to add to cart. And for fans of Kayali, Now is the time to check out the fragrances at Sephora. You can grab those on the Huda Beauty website as well. And I have actually seen a few of these showing up on Joma Shop. Get out of here. For the 1.7 ounces, they are $100, and the 3.4 ounces are $138. So about $28 off of the full size if you have the 20% Rouge discount. I have this on the way from Joma Shop, but in case it sells out and you want it from Sephora, this is Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli, which I had an interesting experience with when I first tested it. This one opens up rude and kind of smacks you around on the opening and then settles down into this pretty winter appropriate, deep, opulent, luxurious, sweet, vanilla, boozy, patchouli combination of a fragrance. And so I have this on the way. It's in the gold bottle, and I'm looking forward to wearing it this winter. According to the fragrance description, it is seductively bold, warm, and spicy, and it's inspired by Vanilla 28. And has that added rum, like I said, patchouli. There's a creme brulee note and the oud note. I forgot all about that. The oud note in the fragrance that people freaked out over. I think this is a really opulent, dense, thick fragrance that I'm looking forward to adding to my collection finally. Look, I don't particularly think that Silk Santal was anything to write home about, but folks went absolutely apeshit over this fragrance, and it is back in stock. After selling out the first time, it came in stock in early October. People had their alarm set. They ran on the website at midnight as soon as it posted, broke the Sephora website trying to get to this, got it off of the Huda website, et cetera, right? People got backup bottles. They just can't live without this. I don't understand. Like, it's a nice fragrance, but it's not, no es pa tanto, como they say in Spanish, how they say in Spanish. But people went bananas. It's not for all that. It ain't all that. Anyway, that's not my point. My point is, for those of you that think it is all that, it's on the Sephora website. Grab yourself a full bottle. Let me see if it's still available as of the day that I'm filming this, which is earlier in the week, right before the sale. It's sitting out there at $100 for the 1.7 ounce. So friends, grab yourself this bottle if you are into that. I have also heard that the male version, the one in the black bottle, is very lovely and wearable by ladies as well. That one is called the Wedding Velvet Santal. I haven't tried that. I may be interested in a little spray of that. And then, of course, the entire Oudgasm collection is on there as well. Really, I mean, there are some very nice Kayali fragrances. I love the Yum Pistachio. How do I say that? Pistachio. The Yum Pistachio Gelato. Oh my God, get your words together. Yum Pistachio Gelato, whatever the hell the number is. That fragrance is also really good. Almost like the number's 33. Marshmallow-like, sweet, musky, just beautiful fragrance. That one is so happy and fun. I might pick up the Sparkling Lychee. I don't know. What do y'all think? Should I try that one? Anyway, the Kayali fragrances. Y'all go look them up and see what you think. My last recommendation is one that I don't think is on anybody's radar unless you are in the makeup community. I don't think anyone in FragCom is checking for this. I may just blind buy this because I find it interesting in the description. It is from the makeup brand called Merit, and this is called Retrospect. The bottle looks very interesting. Can I just pause and say, what's the name of that brand? Orabella? Hold on. Yeah, Orabella. One of the Hadid sisters. Is it Gigi? Bella Orabella, duh. Bella Hadid. When I went downstairs to get me a cold pop. I went into Ulta to check out Orabella. Y'all, the bottles are the goofiest things I've ever seen. When I picked it up, it just felt weird and awkward. It felt like a kid's art project. So I'm so put off by the bottles that I don't even want to know what the fragrances smell like. Sorry, but back to Merit Retrospect. It is leagues ahead of the Orabella bottle design is where I was going to go with it. And the keynotes here are bergamot, jasmine, and musk. And it's supposed to have, let's see here, pear, rose and violet, vanilla, musk, moss. So I've read a lot of reviews on this fragrance, and people have said that it smells a little bit old school, but not vintage, like not old fashioned, but it smells old school. I love a nice old school, like Hollywood glamour kind of fragrance. And I'm willing to give this a try. So it's gotten really great reviews, and I'm looking forward to trying out Merit Retrospect. a musky, floral, citrusy fragrance. I mean, can you go wrong with that? We shall see if you can't go wrong with it or not. And this one is retailing for $92 for the 1 ounce. Ooh, okay, that's a little expensive, because that would mean that a 3 ounce would be at the $270 price if you multiply that 92 times 3 ounces. That's not how pricing works, but if they're pricing a 1 ounce at $92, lordy. Okay, so anyway, I would like to try this fragrance. What are you interested in purchasing? Let us know in the comments. The reason that I suggested these, again, as a reminder, is because they are more easily found on the Sephora website and harder to find on discount elsewhere. Many of the typical designer fragrances, you can buy them on Sephora too for 20% off. Girl, guy, whoever you are, fill your cart, enjoy the sale. But you can usually find the other designers on deeper discount if that's important to you on other discount sites. And so that's all I have to say about that, friends. Oh, I didn't mention this, but the DONNA Born in Roma Gold Rendezvous, beautiful, floral, coconutty, tropical, like garden scent in the gold bottle. That's beautiful too. I have seen that on one discount site, and I don't know if it's still available there. So maybe check that one out too if that sounds intriguing. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Let us know if the Sephora sale is on your radar. If it's not, that's fine too. We don't have to shop every dang sale out there, but I do like to shop the Sephora sale in particular. So I will be adding to cart. Let us know what you got or what you're thinking of getting. Take care, friends.